enter into worship with the words of Gretchen Haley, delivered at the Near Post-Pandemic 2022 General Assembly. Come now across platforms and practices to declare with joy our resilience, to proclaim on purpose we have survived the pandemics of our time. We have survived and are surviving. We have pivoted and we have planned and then replanned and then thrown all plans to the wind. In this circle, we will say without shame, some days we lost our way and our passwords, and we have not always been our best selves. We are learning, and not always quickly, to regroup. And remember, perfection was never the point. We are here because we long to try again, to promise with people to be partners in this long haul work of loving and becoming. Even while we grieve also the cost, which is not small and lingers in our hearts, and turns only sometimes to rage. Here let your body tell the truth. Shake free the stories that live in your skin. Breathe in your beauty and breathe out your burdens. Breathe in our beauty. Breathe out our burdens. Be here with it all, with all of us in the freedom of this new day. The storm is passing over, the sun is breaking through. This new day dawns for us all. Come, let us worship together. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit to join our voices in our opening hymn, number 346 in the gray hymnal, Come Sing a Song with Me. With words by Elizabeth M. Strong. Reverently, I offer this symbol of our hope and high intent. Reverently, I bequeath this flame to you. This is the light that is lit for everyone who comes into the world. Bear this light to others, one by one. Let the flame go from life to life, till all is lit with its warmth. Tell that the light means wisdom. Tell that the light means kindness. Tell that the light means understanding. Tell that the light means tolerance. Tell that the light means sacrifice. Tell that the light is a vision of a fairer world. Tell that this is the light that is lit for everyone who comes into the world. Well, I invite everybody to gather around for an interactive time for all ages. And today I've been adapted an activity by Tara Humphreys. And Zoom friends, as we go along, you also can give responses by typing them into the chat to be read aloud here in the sanctuary. So, can anybody tell me what this is?
It's a tool belt.
It's a tool belt, yes. So, what would a tool belt like this be useful for? What's the good of a tool belt? Building things, and why would you want a belt for your tools?
Storage. It's handy. Accessibility.
It's handy, it's accessible.
Keep them with you. Keep them with you.
Keep them with me?
Mobility.
Mobility, yeah, okay, and especially for what I use this tool belt for. Can anybody see some of the tools I've got in here?
Gardening.
Gardening. I definitely need mobility for gardening. So, let's see. Well, why would I want to carry so many different tools? Why not just one tool?
Have a lot of gardening problems.
Gardening problems? A lot of different problems?
A lot of weeds.
A lot of weeds, okay. And so, also different tools for different jobs, right? In the garden. All right, so, this one here. Maybe. Maybe I will. All right. Okay, so, well, when I want to grow things in my life, there are spiritual and emotional tools that can help me. And my gardening tool belt can help me think about some of my spiritual tools. So, here's something I use in the garden. What do I have here? Gloves. Okay. Why do I wear gloves? Protection, to protect myself. Poison ivy, which I do have, and Virginia creeper, which is not poison ivy. However, it can also give you a nasty rash, just like poison ivy. So, I'm protecting myself from harm. So, in my spiritual life, I might want to protect myself also. And some of the tools I use for that are setting boundaries with people, with my time, and how I spend it, with what I allow into my life, like maybe limiting how much I watch the news. Protecting myself from outside negativity and influences. Okay, now here's another tool I have, and I'm going to give Zoom folks a chance on some of these too, if they have any. Anybody know? Anybody?
For weeds.
So this is actually called a cultivator. So I think what you actually use this for is to get the soil, like loosen the soil up, prepare it to be ready for growth. So in my spiritual life, one tool I use is meditation to prepare my spirit to be open to growth. Okay. how about this one? Some folks are not chiming in. Okay, well, if they do, you just raise your hand. Okay, this is a trowel, and what would I use a trowel for? Digging. So I use it to dig deeper so I can plant seeds. And sometimes I might want to dig deeper in my spiritual life. So I might study spiritual teachings. I might participate in adult RE discussions. So that helps me dig deeper so I can plant seeds for spiritual growth. Okay. Oh, and this one. Anybody know what this is?
A weeder.
A weeder. I use this a lot in my garden. And so this is to root out the weeds that can choke out my plant's growth. And in my spiritual life, there are things that I sometimes need to root out, like complaining, criticizing, comparing, sometimes fear or anger or jealousy. Those are some of the weeds that can choke my spirit. And just like the weeds in my garden, I need to keep at it and keep weeding those things out of my life. Because they do like to come back. All right, how about, let's see it.
Pruner.
A pruner. What would I use a pruner for? Know what pruning was, how would you describe it? Cutting back. And so my pruner helps keep my plants in shape and helps them grow in the right direction. So in my spiritual life, I come to church regularly to keep my spirit in shape, and the sermons help give my spirit some direction. All right, so when the going gets tough and we're having a hard time, we have a broken heart, or we're scared, or overwhelmed, or grieving, we can think about what tools we each have and what practices we have that might help us take care of ourselves. So can anybody think of any other spiritual and emotional tools we might want to keep in our tool belt? Music, definitely. Ritual. Reading. Community, very important. Prayer. Coffee. Yeah, and that could be a ritual too, isn't it, right? Coffee ritual. Church.
Oh, someone's online said time with friends.
Time with friends, very important. And sometimes the flip side, sometimes solitude, right? Exercise, being out in nature, things like that. All right, so we've just named lots of tools, and that's amazing. We have a lot of options and different ways to help take care of ourselves when the going gets tough so we can keep growing. And one of the reasons it's important to think of all these different kind of tools you have is because sometimes you might try one of them, and even if it's worked for you before, it might not work. And then it's easy to think, oh no, nothing's going to help me through this. But then if we can remember, that's just one of the many tools that we have, and it just wasn't quite right, or it didn't work this time, we can go back to the tool belt and try something else. And then, sometimes when things are feeling really, really hard, it could be that none of the tools that we have feel like enough, or feel like they're going to work. Like you were trying to cut down a huge tree with this little pruner. What you really need is a chainsaw. So you might need to borrow some tools from a neighbor, or check out tools from the library. Did you know you could check out tools from the good for you? You can check out tools from the library. So for the spiritual challenges in your life, you might need extra support from a friend, or maybe listen to a podcast, or go and get a book from the library. And then sometimes you just might need to bring in a professional to get the job done, like an arborist or a landscaper. And in our spiritual lives, sometimes what we need is to reach out for professional help. Somebody like a therapist, or a minister, or a doctor, or a teacher. Somebody who can remind us of the tools we already have, because sometimes we forget about them. Lend us tools they have to try out, and help us get new powerful tools that are right for the job. So the point of my my tool belt is not to have every single tool I'll ever need, but to have a starting point for trying. And the more we practice using our tools, the more we ask for help from other people, the better we get at taking care of ourselves and taking care of each other when times are really hard. We might not have all that we need alone, but together it's amazing what we can do and how we can grow. Thanks everybody for participating. Please remain seated for our prayer hymn, number 123, in the gray hymnal, Spirit of Life. In the silence that follows the spoken prayer, you are invited to come forward and light a candle for any joys and concerns you hold in your heart this morning. And this morning we lift up a prayer for Julie Fitzer, who lost her mother Betty last week after a long illness. I now invite us into a prayerful meditation for renewal by Rebecca Savage. Spirit of life, both within and around us, be present to our collective yearning for renewal in this moment. Life has become super lifey these days, with the demands and pressures of jobs and roles, the tugs of the heart of people and places we miss and long for, the ways that when so much is asked of us, we crumble just a little bit more each day under the weight of it all. With soul-crushing, devastating news and updates from around the world and in our own communities, the loved ones in our lives hurting and struggling, the ways that we are hurting and struggling. Spirit of life, we pause to acknowledge the many challenges of life and send love and care within and out in the world. We pause to honor and hold space for the struggles we experience in our bodies and in our spirits, and send love and care to those tender places. We pause to receive the abundant mystery and grace, the power of love that is greater than ourselves to heal and nourish us. We call upon all the transcendent gifts of renewal to be bestowed upon us for an energizing renewal to fill us in all the ways that serve our lagging spirits when our own resilience wanes. We give thanks and gratitude for the sweetness of renewal so that it may linger in us, be amplified and multiplied towards healing and wholeness. In the name of all that is hopeful and holy, may it be so. now light a candle for all the joys and concerns of our beloveds joining us virtually. And I light a candle for all else that we hold in our hearts and our minds this morning. If your heart is hurting, know that your community is here to help. Please reach out with any needs. This morning I woke up with some inspiration for the invitation to the offering, so these are my own reflections rather than what's cited in the order of service. Just as there are tools to nurture our spirits, we have a variety of tools to nurture the life of our church. We have the leadership of our board of trustees to direct our growth. We have committees and groups that form the various branches of church life, and the many volunteers who make church life blossom. We have our budget to fund our operations so that we can pay our minister and music director, rent space, and support programs, strengthening the roots to grow our mission to invite seekers into spiritual community, connect souls in mystery and wonder, and ignite compassion into action. All of this is possible with the seeds of your time, talent, and treasure. I invite you to join me in giving so that Channing Memorial Church will continue to thrive. For those of you watching the service online, you may contribute to a virtual offering plate using the donate button on our website or by mailing a check to the church office. I invite the ushers forward to receive the offering. For all that you give and all that you do for our church and its wider concerns, we give thanks. I now share the segment that Ken H. emailed me as inspiration for the sermon today, the Worship Associate Auction Sermon. And this is from the Washington Post series, A User's Guide to Aging, the words of Anne Lamott. I know the beauty of shadows. Shadows show us how life can gleam and contrast. Sunshine might be dancing outside the window, but the wonder is in the variegation, with fat white clouds bunched up on the right, casting shadows on the hills and gardens, and brush strokes of gray clouds on the left, and, most magical, the long, narrow shawl of fog right across the top of the ridge. The day is saying, who knows how the weather will morph? But meanwhile, so much is possible. And that is life asserting itself. I know life will assert itself. Knowing this means I have a shot at some measure of pliability, like a willow tree that is maybe having an iffy day. Desert Flowers by Manish Mishra Marzetti. Improbably, the wind-blown seed found its way here to a long, beautiful stretch of land, but one that was hot, dry, and arid, a spark of life resting in an unprepared desert. Quenching life-giving sustenance, the rain comes and goes, even if infrequently, sometimes only a few drops at a time, and the seed begins to take root, possibility brought alive. But what life is this amidst the harshness? Pocket mice, rattlesnakes, camel spiders, danger and inhospitality lurking everywhere. One chance encounter gone wrong could bring death to the seedling. And yet somehow the intrinsic invitation to thrive, to flourish and grow, finds a way, even when it's a struggle. Poking gently up from the cracked, parched desert earth, a beautiful pink 5-petaled phacelia blooms spectacularly. Improbably. We are those wind-blown seeds, the universe's longing for life, for thriving, for beauty, even when it is against the odds. I invite you to rise in body or spirit to join our voices in hymn 348 in the gray hymnal, Guide My Feet. there it was, on the wall in a hallway of the Richland County Health Department in Sidney, Montana, where my daughter was serving as an AmeriCorps volunteer. I was absorbing every detail of the life she'd had here for the past year: the reception desk, the staff, the water cooler. But this one thing on the wall in the hallway was what grabbed my attention. A colorful poster for assessing emotional wellness. Thriving, surviving, struggling, in crisis, all with indicators to assess what stage you're in. There's a copy of it in your order of service, and I hope you did get an order of service today, and my apologies if I didn't print enough. Thriving, I got this. Surviving, something isn't right. Struggling, I can't keep this up. And in crisis, I can't survive this. It hit me like a lightning bolt because one of my beloved traveling companions, my son, was teetering precariously on the edge of crisis and had been for some time. At the other end of the spectrum was my daughter, who, despite living in uncertainty about her immediate future, was on the cusp of thriving, embracing not only the life she was in, but also the mysterious future. Then there was me, hovering more or less around surviving, sometimes more, sometimes less. Anne Lamott writes, "I know the beauty of shadows. Shadows show us how life can gleam in contrast." In this case, in this poster, thriving gleams in contrast to crisis, to struggling, and even to merely surviving. And on the flip side of the poster from the order of service, I included a table where I organized the content for direct comparisons. If you know me, this doesn't surprise you. You don't need to study this now. I mainly printed it for your reference, but I did want you to have it. And if you didn't get one and you'd like one, you can let me know. So just for now, listen to some of the indicators of thriving as they gleam in contrast to the other levels. In contrast to surviving's shadow of being easily overwhelmed or irritated, thriving gleams able to take things in stride. In contrast to the in-crisis shadow of feeling numb, lost, or out of control, thriving gleams able to take feedback and to adjust to changes of plans. In contrast to struggling's shadow of persistent fear, panic, anxiety, anger, pervasive sadness, and hopelessness, thriving gleams, calm and steady, with minor mood fluctuations. In contrast to surviving's shadow, in which activities and relationships you used to enjoy seem less interesting or even stressful, thriving gleams with connection and joy. Words that I added in my table version to express the contrast that's implied by the poster. That was last summer when I encountered the poster. Although it crosses my mind occasionally, I haven't thought about it much until recently one morning last week, when I woke up inspired to write about the poster in this sermon. Now I need to put this awakening in context. Despite my enthusiasm about the intriguing topic from Ken and the numerous fantastic readings that I'd gathered, I'd been stuck in weeks of writer's block and lack of motivation for an actual sermon. About this shadow time of writer's block, Anne Lamott might have told me, the day is saying, who knows how the weather will morph? But meanwhile, so much is possible, and that is life asserting itself. And for me, life did assert itself. I woke up, and I finally had something to say. Not coincidentally, I had just had an acupuncture treatment the day before. Acupuncture, one of the heavy-duty tools in my gardening tool belt of resilience, in my spiritual quest for moving from surviving to thriving. The pinnacle acupuncture point that day was called Heaven Rushing Out, a point to support me in being fully self-expressed. Like I said, not a coincidence. Margaret Fuller is quoted as saying, very early I knew that the only object in life was to grow. For me, that's why I keep going to acupuncture and doing yoga and coming to Channing Memorial Church. Because I get how important it is to grow. Because I know that without these tools, I can easily slip from thriving to surviving. And I can easily slide from surviving to struggling. And from struggling, crisis is just a slippery slope away. I've heard it said that joy is our birthright. I could say thriving is our birthright. Yet at times it can feel so elusive. We may have to claim that birthright. Sometimes we have to work for it. Nathan C. Walker writes the following reflection. The question is not what happens when we die. Nobody really knows. The real question is what happens when we stop living. The stoicism we face on a daily basis is a symptom of a larger illness called a duly dulled life. Our lives can be hypnotized by the monotonous commutes, multiplied by the flickering fluorescent light that falls upon the micromanaging boss who thinks everything you do in your cubicle is an extension of his or her power. Who here is dying a slow and numbing death? There's no time to be lulled by monotony. There is no time to be blaming other people for our own feelings. If you don't like it, change it. There is no time for crying or complaining or gossiping or clinging to that fashionable grudge bag. No, it is time to wake up, to rise up, and to carry ourselves into a day worth living. Let us live one day, this day, with passion and a sense of collective synergy. Let us live one day, this day, by asking questions that truly challenge us and make us feel alive. For today's question is not what happens when we die, it is what happens when we stop living. So, Nathan C. Walker really lays it on the line there. He is not waiting around for life to assert itself. He wants us to grab life by the horns and gallop from surviving to thriving. Maybe we're up to grabbing life by the horns, or maybe we need to take Anne Lamott's more gentle approach of playability, like a willow tree that is maybe having an iffy day. For those extremes and for everything in between, how can we as Channing Memorial Church provide tools that support life in asserting itself? Our Unitarian Universalist faith puts love at the center. In the quest for love, the prophet Rumi says, "Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it." Likewise, the Reverend Dr. Sherry Prudhomme asserts, "The religious responsibility of the faithful is to remove and dismantle the systems and structures that prevent the full flourishing of life, and to enhance and side with the movement of creative and active love." Well, that reminds me of my weeding tool, removing obstacles to growing and thriving. Dismantle the systems and structures that prevent the full flourishing of life. How on earth do we do that? Or I might ask, how do we do that on earth? One way I've seen Channing members work toward that is through writing legislators, providing testimony, and calling for the changes they want to see in the systems. Another way I've seen Channing members work toward that is through attending rallies, carrying signs, and calling for the changes they want to see in the structures. And some of us who have not yet found the courage to get out there look inward for the resources to write sermons in hopes of inspiring this holy work. When it all feels overwhelming, here's some encouragement from Ashley Horan. You are loved beyond belief. You are enough. You are precious. Your work and your life matter, and you are not alone. You are part of a we, a great cloud of witnesses, living and dead, who have insisted that this beautiful, broken world of ours is a blessing worthy of both deep gratitude and fierce protection. Our ancestors and our descendants are beckoning us, compelling us onward toward greater connection, greater compassion, greater commitment to one another and to the earth. Together we are resilient and resourceful enough to say yes to that call, to make it our life's work in 1,000 different ways, knowing that we can do no other than bind ourselves more tightly together and throw ourselves into the holy work of showing up again and again, to be part of building that world of which we dream, but which we have not yet seen. Deep gratitude and fierce protection for this beautiful, broken world of ours, writes Ashley Horan. Poet Adam Zagajewski, as translated by Claire Kavanaugh, wrote, "You must praise the mutilated world." This quotation is the opening for a devotional by Maureen Killoran entitled "The Stubborn Gifts of Breath and Life," found in Braver, Wiser, a weekly message of courage and compassion, written in November 2016. And here it is. It felt like being on the moon walking on Mount St. Helens. Just a few years previous, that mountain had blown her top, destroying human and animal life, flattening vegetation and buildings for miles, and sharing its ash with the world. As we stepped from our car, we felt that ash drift like talcum around our ankles, rise in the air and enter with our breath. Other than occasional blackened memories of trees, all was gray, gray as far as you could see. Silence seized us for the longest time as we stood there, two irrelevant humans and this huge, mutilated world. Only gradually did our eyes flow and our hearts focus. Only gradually did we begin to see what was really before us. How had we overlooked the fireweed, that perennial volunteer, its brilliant buds proclaiming, "Hey world, we're back"? What blocked us from celebrating the eager insect conversations around us? It was right there before us, and we nearly walked away. Overwhelmed by the devastation, we almost missed the tiny pond, its surface literally dancing with more tadpoles than I had ever seen. We do this, you see. We ensnare ourselves with the magnitude of what the poet called the mutilated world. We get busy and troubled and frightened. And then incongruously, it's time for Thanksgiving. I at least need this season to remind myself to be grateful for intermittent beauty and the stubborn gifts of breath and life. Maybe you too, need this season, even if just quietly to say, praise be. Thus ends Maureen Killoran's reflection. It need not be November or the Thanksgiving holiday for us to have a reminder to be grateful for what Killoran calls the stubborn gifts of breath and life, be it in the natural world or in our inner spiritual realm. Whether we are waiting for it with yielding pliability or grabbing it by the horns, may we be prepared with a variety of tools in our gardening belt of resilience, ready to help along life asserting itself. May it be so. Please rise in body or spirit to join our voices in hymn 38, Morning Has Broken. It's in your gray hymnal. I send us off with this prayer by Maureen Killoran. God of hope and healing, grant us courage to recognize life's blessings as we struggle to heal the wounds that shape our days. May we give thanks always, believing that even in the world's bleakest moments, the dance of life is always underway. Go in peace, and amen.